guys, welcome back to Trail Talk. We are out here in the sand dunes playing around, having some fun. And we thought since we were out here, we might as well show you guys some basic methods of getting yourself unstuck out of the sand. There's a few ways you can go about it. We're gonna cover just basics of airing down to using traction boards, potentially even a winch. So we thought we should show you guys some simple methods to get you unstuck if you guys are stuck in the sand. So in this example, Ryan ran out of talent and we are in pretty firm sand, but soft enough that he's on a uphill slope. You might be able to back out backwards, but it's a little bit sketchy back there. So in this case, we're just gonna try the simplest method, is airing down a little bit further. We've already aired down to about 18 to 20 PSI in our Forerunner, but I think if we come down a little bit more, we could probably crawl out of this situation. So that's gonna be our first method, is just airing down more if you have the room. If you're already way too aired down, that's probably not gonna help you. If you're stuck, you might need to go to the next method. But for right now, we're just gonna air down, see what happens. All right, that's about 15 PSI, so we're just gonna go with that, see how we do out of it. All right, Ryan. Oop, you're starting to bury more. Yep, work the steering wheel. Too much, too much.
I'm buried.
So in this situation, airing down did not help. It's completely based on each circumstance. Now, we're gonna use max tracks and dig out in the front and back and get the traction boards under there. And I have high hopes we'll get out with traction boards. The cool thing about max tracks is they have kind of a shovel scoop design. So if you don't have a shovel itself, that's another tool you should always have with you, as a shovel. But you can actually use this as a shovel to scoop out. So the technique here is we have 4 max tracks, 4-wheel drive. Want to get them underneath all the tires, but we're going to scoop out the sand as best we can and then get these under. And the key is to not spin on them. So once these bite, you just want to really gently throttle onto them. If you start to spin, stop, because all you're gonna do is melt the teeth. Skinny pedal is not the answer with traction boards. Just make sure once you crawl on there, you just maintain traction and you just crawl yourself out. It's okay if once you get past the board, if you bog down again, that's okay. You're making forward progress, and that's the key. So we'll just reposition the traction board under him again and crawl again if we need to. But I have a feeling once he gets the momentum, he'll be able to drive right out. The other key is you want to make sure the traction board is a ramp up. You want to lift the vehicle up. This angle is actually ideal. The tire's already turned. Give it a good few kicks. We'll get one under the back tire. We're only using the traction board. We're using it as a shovel and the extraction device. He's definitely buried on the frame. I'm not too worried about digging out the entire frame, because once these suck under, the whole truck will lift up and he'll drive right out. There are situations you might need to dig out the frame more, but I think we're good here. Let's see. Ryan is ready to start trying to crawl out, and we'll see what happens here. Okay, go ahead. Come on, baby. Whoop, there you go. All right, go, go, go. Nice. Traction boards are a great tool for self-recovery because they don't take up a lot of weight, especially over like a winch if you're going back and forth. A good set of max tracks is like half the price of a winch, unless you look at other types of winches. So that was a very simple way you can get out by yourself with max tracks or recovery boards in general. And what are you doing?
I'm just doing what you told me to do.
Okay, so now we'll demonstrate the last method with Adigan now, and that is using a winch with what's called a dead man. There's also pull pals, there's land anchors. So we're gonna use the winch to pull Adigan out. Somebody else needs to drive.
So we get to dig a hole for this. This is the dead man. Hey, label up. Good job, Rye. So basically this is it's a dead man. This is not a new term. This is the brand Dead Man Off-Road. But the concept is to bury something deep, to use it as a submerged, buried anchor point for your winch line. So since there's nothing I can just directly attach my winch line to, I dig a big hole, bury it in the hole, and then connect all 4 arms back to my winch line. So first, 4 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot deep hole. Here we go. There's another version of this, similar idea, but it's a big metal thing. It's called a pull pal. Unfortunately, it weighs about 40 pounds. So if you got the weight budget for it, it's actually a lot easier to use than a dead man because you don't have to dig a hole. You just plop the thing in the sand. It's like a boat anchor, and you pull. When you pull on it, it buries itself. So no hole digging, but 40 pounds versus 4 pounds.
So I just released the clutch on the winch, which is a lever down here. A lot of winches have different methods. Most of them have a clutch. So what that allows is for me to free spool the line out, not running the winch, to where our dead man is, and we'll hook it up and get tension and start our pull in. Also, while the hood's open, I'm gonna go ahead and hook up my remote. I wanna be in the driver's seat. I'll be running the remote as well. So I'll go ahead and run this guy into there. I want to do, might be the first ever Trail Talk top tip, but anytime you're doing recovery, it is extremely important to just slow down, stop even. For a lot of folks, it can be very stressful, especially if you're not used to being in a stuck situation. In this case, there's no reason to be in a hurry. Just stop, breathe, assess the situation. Honestly, recovery can be a lot of fun because it lets you practice skills you haven't done before. So that's my Trail Talk top tip. There it goes. So I'll bring in tension, and then he just put the weight on there. Even though it is synthetic line, it's always important to put some sort of weight, whether it's a backpack, a jacket, or a dedicated winch line weight, in case something were to happen. Even though it is synthetic, it is building a lot of kinetic energy, and we have a big old piece of metal on the end, so it's just there for safety. All right, tension. So what I'm going to try to do here is help the winch as much as possible. Since it's not the most solid anchor, I don't want to rely on the winch too much. So there's going to be kind of a kind of a sweet spot of feathering the throttle, helping it without helping it too much or not enough. So we'll see how this goes. Sweet. So that worked really well. It was just the right amount of assist we needed to help pull this up and out. So now that Ryan is fired from driving, we're gonna continue enjoying the dunes. And I hope you guys enjoyed this trail talk of some very basic methods of getting yourself self-recovered from sand, all the way from airing down your tires more to see if that would help using max tracks, and then also using a winch with a dead man. We'll see you guys on the next trail talk, and we'll see you out there on the trail.